everyone, Shani of Shani and Charlie here with my main man Danny, coming to you guys with a quick video. I wanted to do this video just talking about some of my top tips for starting a garden. I am a really huge advocate of everyone having a garden. Everyone having a garden, and it doesn't matter if you're in the city, in the country, you're in an apartment, you have a lot of yard, a small space, just a balcony. I mean, you can have a garden. And if you do have a small space, I do have a video on container gardening. I'm gonna do an updated one, but the one that I have so far, I am gonna put the link to it in the description box and just give you some tips to start. So this out there, I'm not a master gardener yet. Next spring I will be doing my volunteer hours and taking my classes for master gardening. So next spring I will be a master gardener, and this kind of comes from just trial and error of me gardening. We got that out of the way. Let's just jump right into this video. So the first tip that I have is research. And when I first started gardening, my first year gardening as an adult by myself, I did not research a lot of things. I didn't research what grows well with what not to plant next to what. I didn't research the seasons and what grew well at this time and that time, and I was doing everything just kind of just doing stuff, and so I ended up making a mess. A lot of stuff died, a lot of stuff I had to pull up because I planted it in the wrong place and I planted it in the wrong season. So research, and not only researching how to plant different things, but research the sun in your area. Just one day start paying attention to where, you know, the sun hits where you get the most sun in your area. So or if you have something, just because you have sun shining on one area in the morning time, come noon, it may not be, the sun may not be shining on the area. There may be a tree or something that's keeping, you know, that area from getting the sun that it needs. So all plants, they need at least 6 hours of sun, at least a minimum for most plants, a minimum of 6 hours. And I said it because I had a fence, and I planted next to my fence, and the fence was on I think it was on the south side of my garden. So when the sun started to move, it cast a shadow on my plants, and it was plants that really needed the sun, and those plants ended up getting very leggy because they were stretching themselves out trying, and they were growing sideways. They were trying to get to that light. So just research. And going along with research, the second tip that I have is read seed packets. Yes, read your seed packets, because the seed packets, just because the store has these seeds on sale this time of year, it may not be the time for that seed. It may not be the time to grow that plant. The seed packets is going to tell you how deep to plant it, what time of year to plant it, what times are the best time to plant it. Seed pack is going to tell you the harvest days, the germination days. Are going to tell you about spacing. That's a lot of times I'm very bad about that myself when it comes to spacing. A lot of times, like, well, I can grow this is not too far. And when I'm really bad when it comes to squash and zucchini, I'm really bad. And I always, every single year, I end up having to pluck up some of my squash and zucchini plants because they get huge, and I don't think about how big it's gonna get. Sometimes we plant things based on what size it is now, but you have to realize these things a lot of these plants are gonna get huge. So you have to go in mind, pay attention to the spacing that's on the seed packet. And if you've grown before, think about not what size it is now, but what size it's going to be when doing your spacing. So definitely read your seed packets. That's definitely on the top of my list. Another one is, if it is your first time planting, start out small. Because it's better to be proud of a small garden than to be frustrated and overwhelmed by a large garden. I messed up. My first year gardening on my own is I just gardened so big. I just gardened so big. And my garden was huge, and I was so proud of it, but it became so overwhelming for me because I was having to weed, because I did an in-ground garden. I was having to do a lot of weeding, and by the time I got done weeding this side of my garden, it was time for me to go over to this side, and by the time I got done with that side, it was time for me to go over this side, because I was working a full-time job. Now it's kind of how it is now, but I have more control over it now, and I know how to space out my time, and I know how to do a lot of things that I didn't know how to do then. So if you're first starting out, I would recommend that you start small, and you can always build on it, because like this, I'm not just starting out gardening, but this is my first time gardening in this house. I just moved into this house in February, and I started my garden, I think in either March or May is when I started my garden. So I had to till the ground, and I started out kind of small. It was larger than I wanted it to be, but I started out really small, and I just kept building on more and more and more and more. And now it's time for the fall garden, and I'm making it even larger, but I'm also doing a lot of things to be able to control the weeds, and be able to just sustain this garden in this space. The next one I have, along with starting small, is plant what you like. I know it is very tempting when you go to the nurseries and you see all these seed packets, and you want to try to grow this, you want to try to grow that, and I messed up doing that. My first year gardening, I was so happy. I was so happy to finally, I love you, I heard you. I was finally so happy to be gardening that I just started just buying seeds and buying plants. I was growing, I can't stand cantaloupe, but I was growing cantaloupe, and honeydew is okay, but it's not anything that I want to use space for, because I would eat it, but I really don't like it like that. So I was growing honeydew, I was growing tomatoes. I like tomatoes, but I only like cherry tomatoes. I don't like large tomatoes. I don't like them on a sandwich. I don't like them on anything like that. The only way that I can eat tomatoes is if they're very small, sweet cherry type tomatoes. So I grew these really large tomatoes. I'm like, what am I going to do with all these large tomatoes? I don't even eat them. So I ended up giving a lot of them away. But I do like fried green tomatoes. So I ended up harvesting them while they were green. Come here before you fall. I ended up harvesting them while they were green and cooking a lot of fried green tomatoes. And when you don't grow what you like, you're growing a bunch of stuff, you're really not excited about it, because you're like, I'm gonna end up giving it away, and I still gotta go and buy food. So if you're garden to save money, not to have to go to the store and buy food. So grow only what you like. Okay, to try things that you haven't tried before, but I would say try 1 or 2 plants, because it's certain type of tomatoes that I like to try from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, but I will only grow 1 of those tomato plants, and I will plant a garden full of tomatoes. Like 1 year I had, I think, 30 tomato plants. I would have a garden full of tomato plants. Out of those 30 tomato plants, I would probably say 25 of them were tomatoes that I've grown before, and maybe 5 of them were tomatoes that I wanted to try, different types of tomatoes that I wanted to try. And so if you are going to grow something that you don't typically eat and you don't know that you're going to like, grow that first time that you try it. Don't take up a lot of space in your garden because you may not like it, and you just use that space for something that you don't even like. But another tip is to be patient and don't compare. I know you look at these people with these really huge gardens, and you want to have these huge gardens, and it looks like their gardens don't have any weeds. Their gardens just are always perfect all the time. But just be patient, you will get there, because I know how to garden. But this is my first time being in this house, and I'm single again. So I don't have a lot of time that I used to have, because when I was gardening before, when I was married, my husband would kind of, what do you need me to do on the inside? Because he knew I loved gardening. What do you need me to take care of on the inside so you can do what you need to do outside? So I did, the washing clothes and all stuff like that. But other things on the inside that needed to be done, he would take care of that. Or if any errands need to be run, he will take care of that. And that left me more time for gardening. But now with me being, single again and living alone, everything is on me. So I don't have as much time to put into my garden as I would like right now. And even in the fall, I'm gonna have even less time, because by the time I get home, when I get home now, it's still sunlight outside. It's still daytime outside. So I still have time to work in my yard. But in the fall, by the time I get home at 6:30, it's gonna be dark. So I'm only gonna have time to work on the weekend. So, and one thing I'm learning is to be patient and not compare. And I know that this year my garden won't look like Big City Gardener or Lovers for a Healthy Life or Miss Peaches or Miss Callie Kim or Gun Culture, John Coulter, or In My Gardener. I love their gardens, but I know right now, realistically, and I'm sorry if you see this bug flying around this video, I left my door open and some gnats and flies got in my house. Sorry. But I know my garden is not going to be like theirs right now. But and theirs didn't. I'm pretty sure their garden isn't what it is. It wasn't what it is now the first year they started. So that's pretty much it. Those are the tips that I have right now. You're being silly again. Right now, those are all the tips that I have. I hope that was enough to help you out just to get started with your garden. And I will try to do more gardening tip videos. I hope to be able to do some outside in my garden. But, you know, it's really, really hot out there right now. It's like so hot. Oh my God. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching. And as usual, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, toodaloo. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Alright guys, so thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Remember to like, to comment, to subscribe, and to share. Remember to subscribe. That is very, very important so you don't miss any future videos, and hit that bell. Anything else you want to see on this channel, please comment down below. Let me know and I'll be more than happy to oblige. Thank you so much for watching, and as usual, toodaloo. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.